nostalgia review series. I want to talk about Mare. Just a quick video. Mare is basically an adventure slash magic anime, and I remember watching this as a kid on Toonami. Back when Toonami I was actually into it, and unfortunately, it only had 52 episodes dubbed. I think they ended up canceling it because maybe it wasn't getting enough views. But watching this show now, it was actually a pretty solid show. At least underrated. The anime has 102 episodes. And I finished watching it last year. Basically, this kid named Ginta. He's just an ordinary kid with blonde hair in Tokyo, Japan. You know what it is. He's a happy-go-lucky character that likes to dream all the time. And one day, this random door just pops out of nowhere in his class, and he went through the door, and he got transported to Mare. Now, Mare is like a magical, mystical world filled with people and magic. And this is where he met another character named Dorothy. She's one of the main characters on there. Dorothy, she's like a witch. She has pink hair. She's cunning, manipulative, but she tries to be manipulative to Ginta at first. She used him to try to get some item. They end up getting a little bit closer, but she went her own way in the series, at least for now. And then he met Babos. Babos, he's like a magic emerald, but basically in this universe, magic is used through these items, magic items, and there's different types of magic items. And I think that's a nice power system. That is a pretty nice power system. I mean, you can use magic energy, and he learned how to use that later on in the series. Basically, by being in tune with all your senses at the same time and is releasing them. It's like trying to activate a sixth sense. That's basically what the magic energy is in that universe. And then they can pour their energy inside these magic items to use them. But Bibos, he's a special magic armlet. He can talk, and he has his own. He's like one of those, you know, those cup in the box. He's like a bowling ball, small bowling ball with chains connected to like a hammer, and he can talk. But they end up meeting Jack, monkey face. The same treatment as Lupin the Third, the monkey face thing. He ended up being like a coward, scaredy cat. Because these wolves, these vegetarian wolves out there basically taking their lunch money, going in their cornfield, their crop field, taking their fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. So Barbos and Ginta, they handled that jump. You know, Jack finally grew some hair on his balls and started taking the wolves. He ended up traveling with Ginta, going on an adventure. And then later on in the series, you find out that his dad died due to the first war games. And I'll explain that later on in the video. They ended up meeting Princess Snow. She's like a reincarnated version or alternate version of the girl in his world. They look just alike, basically like a counterpart. And she uses like ice abilities and stuff like that with her magic powers. The magic items that she used. But they actually met this dog named Edward just a little bit before meeting the princess. it turns out that there's another soul inside of him. That dog got merged with another human soul named Alan, and he's one of the warriors who fought in the first war games. And he was like, I believe he was second to the first person who came in the world mirror. That first person is actually, it ended up being Ginta's father. We find that out later on in the series. Sooner or later, they end up meeting the chess pieces. The chess pieces are basically the villains. But they ended up meeting Elvis. And he was a kid during the first war games. He got hit with a curse by Phantom, the leader of the war games. And if the curse is complete, he will turn to a living corpse, just like the Phantom. But he saw Barbo's and he tried to destroy him because Barbo's originally belonged to the Phantom. And later on in the series, it turns out that Barbo's was originally Phantom's, and he had a different personality, like a different soul. And somehow after Ginta's father defeated Phantom, it kind of ended in a draw though, but Barbo's soul, original soul, went inside Ginta's father, and that's why he really went missing for all these years. He's possessed his body and he's doing things behind the scene. And Ginta's dad's soul ended up going inside the Marchen Awaken. And there was another soul inside of him too. So basically he had two personalities inside of him currently in the series. It's explained later on in the series, like around the last few episodes, that his father was sleeping deep inside that magic armlet. That was the second soul inside of him. But Elvis, since he's a few years older, he has more experience, and he's seen the casualties of war during the first war games. And then you got Alan. He's training Ginta and Jack, even the princess, taking them into this magic place. There's a special omelet where you can take people to like a dimension or something like that. It's like 1 day of training is equal to 2 months. It's kind of like the hyperbolic time chamber to a degree. I thought that was a nice concept. And then you got Nanashi, typical womanizer. He uses, thunder and lightning, magic armlets. And now that I reviewed like the main cast, I go to the villains. I'm just gonna name a couple of them. They're called the chess piece, and then there's a rank within them, like pawn, rookie, knight, king, and queen. And the knights, they're like the top strongest members of the chess pieces. You can make an argument for the king. He's the strongest. You can also make an argument that he's equal to or stronger than Phantom, since he has the body of the person that actually made a draw with him, got a draw with them in the first. It turns out that the original Barbaros, he was made from the negative energy of people from the real world, I believe. And he manifested into that magic armlet, and he manipulated the queen to believing that he was created from the darkness and negative energy from the people of Mer. And the reason why she went rogue is because she had good intentions, but She chose the wrong path, and according to the law of where she's from a kingdom, and she's actually the older sister of Dorothy, and she's the counterpart to Ginta's mom. The kingdom that they're from is like, if they do some kind of betrayal or something like that, break the law, certain type of laws, that's death. And the magic omelets came from the kingdom. That's the birth of the magic omelets. They got some kind of priest, some high level priest there, along with other types of priests, and then they create magic amulets. But I noticed in the story, it's like after the battle with the Phantom, it kind of seemed like they was trying to make sympathy for him. It's like they kind of try to humanize him and make us feel sorry for him. It happened so randomly. Anyways, it was a very underrated anime that it really doesn't get the credit that it deserves, man. Especially in the Magic Journal, people talk about Fairy Tail. Right now, people talking about Black Clover. There's some fan base for an anime called Magic. This is underrated, and people should watch this anime. You will not be disappointed. And you have to, judge by at its time. It came out, and you have to judge by its time, because this anime came out around 2003, 2004 in Japan. Then it came out, I think, around 2004, maybe 2005 here in America. So for its time, it was underrated, action packed, and a decent story. And I like how the ending eventually, everything don't last forever. The game eventually ends. It all comes at an end at some point. So after they got done taking care of everything, Ginta and his father says their farewell to everybody in the world mare, including friends, and they went back to their world. It ended beautifully. I like how the credits, they show extra footage about what people are doing in Mare and stuff like that. Beautiful ending. But overall, I give this anime a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. The soundtrack was dope. Everything. Go watch this show. You will not regret it. Anime very underrated. And this is it. And I'm out.